solar panels on boats and controllers. And our guest speaker is Nigel. As you can tell from my smile, it's 100% genuine and always a pleasure. Nigel, thanks for joining us here today.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. And
Awesome.
we actually have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
There's been a raft of new technologies coming into the solar world in the last few years, and some of them as recently as last year, which have basically changed many of the prescriptions we've used for recommending solar panels on boats. So it's a really good time to be talking solar.
You briefly talked about this, but I think it's important to bring it up. Do you want to again speak a little bit, because this is a common question. I mean, there is so much difference of opinions there on series versus parallel. You briefly touched about, obviously, of dedicated controllers per panel. And by the way, if you are going to experience shading on your boat, and that could be even, obviously, sailboats experience a lot of shading because of the boom and the rigging and stuff like that. But even powerboats, even if you have a bimini or even have a hard top, you might have a significant open array in the back. You might have a sat TV dome or a sat TV dome and a comm dome.
Yep.
So shading is a problem for many of us. Most of us boaters do not have a shade-free location for installing solar panels.
Yeah.
So anyway, now that putting the shading issue aside, you want to weigh in a little bit about series versus parallel shading and how it relates to controllers a little bit more.
Absolutely. Essentially, it can come down to mechanics of installation versus slight gains in efficiencies. So, for instance, if you put two panels in series, the voltage is going to double. So you have to check what the voltage rating of the controller is. Now, an advantage of series is that you make your connection up where the panels are, and now you only have one pair of wires to run below. Okay. So as opposed to our recommended thing where you've got one controller per panel, now, well, you've got two sets of wires that you need to get through the deck. So that's a kind of an immediate gain for going into series, because it allows you to, I've got one less deck gland, I've got, one less set of wires to run below, et cetera. So that's one basic distinction. If you decide that putting the panels in parallel to deal with shading is your choice to do that, because you still want one controller, you don't want to have two controllers, it's recommended that you put blocking diodes between the panels so they don't backfeed each other. And those blocking diodes reduce your output by, I don't know, 0.7 volts, something.
Yeah, 0.7 about. Yeah, that's what yeah.
So that's a compromise. I mean, everything on a boat is a compromise, right? But that's a compromise that lowers your output, but allows you, again, to have just two wires going to a single controller. But the thing to remember is when you put panels in parallel, the voltage stays the same, but the current doubles.
Yeah.
And so now you've got to size your wire and your fusing and everything according to that now doubled current. So
to the controller. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's a little game that you play with. How many wires do I want running below? How efficient do I want the system to be? How much shading is there really or not? A common setup that we've recommended, let's say someone has a large bimini and the boom overhangs it a little bit, like the first third. So often but they don't want every single panel to have its own control. It's like, let's say they got 6 panels up on the bimini. So that's 12 wires to deal with. So a compromise that's been pretty successful is I'll have a port array and a starboard array. So I put the 3 panels on port in series and the 3 panels on starboard in series. And so when the boom is, on the port side and shading that a little bit, well, you'll reduce some output there, but the whole starboard array is still pumping.
That's such a good point, Tom.
And that gives you 2 controllers, 2 sets of wires to go below. And that's been like an example of a good compromise layout for people.
I agree. That being said, I tell people especially if you're a sailboater and you have limited charging sources on your boat and you're really power hungry, it does pay off to run dedicated controllers. I can tell you that, you put the labor up front. It's going to be painful. It's going to hurt. It's never easy. It's
Yeah.
not what you want. But I can tell you that for the voters that are really want something. And I mean, if you're not believing that solar is great for you, then it's harder to justify putting all that extra effort. But if you've been converted, or you truly believe that our recommendations are good and they're tangible, then I can't emphasize enough how, yes, I did, but the same thing on my boat. I had 6 panels, 6 controllers. Yeah, it was a lot of work. Yeah, it was bigger
Yeah.
arrays. But the flip side is, the efficiency of my solar array was just absolutely breathtaking. Every time I would look at the stats, I was just blown away, But I didn't cut corners, And the
Yeah,
problem
and
is sometimes, go ahead, Tom.
I'm sorry. It also speaks to the age-old maxim of all sailors, which is redundancy, right? So
Yeah.
if you've got one controller that craps out and all of your panels are going through that controller, unless you have another one in a bag in the builds, you're done. But if you've got multiple controllers for multiple panels, at least,
Yeah,
you
you
still
don't
have
lose
those
everything.
other ones
And
working.
yeah, and I want to also, for the listeners, that what Tom brought about is really good. Like, we do the same thing. This concept of port and starboard, let's say, for example, but this, maybe having 2 panels on port on one controller, 2 panels on starboard on controller, assuming again on a sailboat that the shading would be generally either affecting all panels on starboard, all panels on port. And so if they're going to be experiencing similar type of shading, then it makes sense. You don't have to worry about having individual controllers on the starboard side. When one panel is shaded, the other is also shaded, then it might make sense. And you're absolutely right. We do this a lot on Biminis. We'll say, okay, we'll put these 2 panels on port, these 2 panels on starboard, because whenever one really experiences a lot of shading, the other will as well. And that's a way to reduce cable sizes. And also the challenges on some boats, although the controllers are tiny, as you were showing. I mean, the Victron controllers are the size almost of a pack of cigarettes. Not the small one, but the bigger one that I saw my father smoking when I was growing up. And, but sometimes on the boats, where are you going to mount that? Where are you going to mount that even near the battery? It's easy to plan in our heads when we don't have to deal with a boat. But when as a boat owner, you're like, okay, sure. But where am I going to put that? Like, not all of us have a closet
Right.
or a bulkhead waiting to have controllers mounted, right? So it is a challenge. And so,
Well, especially if you get into those larger Victron controllers, like the 150. And now we're talking cigar box mini briefcase. That thing it's huge. Where are you going to put it?
Yeah, huge heat sink on it as well. Yeah. Also, if you found this video interesting, please subscribe. It honestly does help us to know that all this time that we're investing is actually we're reaching a lot of voters. And I want to thank all of you for watching. Thanks for spending some time with me.